remember sitting back, like sitting back on the chair, and for the first time in my whole life, I was living happiness in real time.
Welcome back to another Latino with a podcast. This is a bonus content with the guru of the phrases, motivational phrases. Just see that.
Pretty much.
Pretty much the episode was full of motivational quotes, and now we're gonna get in the dirt. What? No, I have this with everything that is happening. You're in LA. Have you met any famous people that are famous? Famous,
Yeah.
famous? Who?
So I've
P
actually
Diddy.
pretty much. I'm just kidding. No, don't. Good time. I'm glad I never went to his party. I'm just kidding. I'm glad.
Yeah, kidding. She
When
went.
they asked me to bring baby oil, I thought that was kind of weird. No, I feel like he's the one that put a hit on Selena. Anyways, so as I was saying, no, yeah,
That
I
was
have
a
met.
nice joke, by
Yeah,
the way.
that was, oh my god, that was. I wrote that one. I was like, yo. It's because people be like, Selena's like a big thing for me. I love Selena. Selena's like my hero, but like
Gomez.
so, and Selena Quintanilla Perez. And sometimes I look like I dress like her, right? Why don't I dress? I have the style, and I laugh because people be like, "Oh my god, you look Selena," and I'm like, "Shut the fuck up with the lying." I was like, "I don't look like Selena. I look like her sister." And we're not even talking about her real sister, we're the one from the movie. Like people really think everything was factual in the movie, right? So we all think Yolanda did it, right? Like we like well we saw it on the movie, right? Like she was in the car crying, right? Like I mean, what if P Diddy did it? Because of J Lo. I'm put it out there.
Okay.
It's gonna be on TMC. But I met famous
This
people.
clip, this
This
clip of
clip,
the
like right, like there's not one person. So no, so I have met famous people. Thankfully, I've actually performed with famous people that I
nice.
consider famous. So like, I performed and got to meet Tom Arnold. He does a lot of films with like Arnold Schwarzenegger and all that stuff like that. I actually feel bad because I confused him from this guy from Jingle All the Way, and I told him, and we smiled, and we took a selfie, and then he
And
was
then we
like,
kiss.
no, and then he
No,
was like,
okay.
and I was like, cool. And then later on, I told people, oh my God, he was in Jingle All the Way. And they're like, Jaws is not the same guy. Jamie Kennedy, Daryl Hammond, who was on SNL. He used to
Nice.
play Bill Clinton, right? I done shows with, so I met those, like a bunch of, like I performed with them multiple times. What's his name? His name is, what was his name? But he's also pretty well known
Super
in
famous.
comedy. Yeah,
This
super
super
famous.
famous. Yeah.
Um, Momo Rodriguez, Paul Rodriguez. I've done shows with Paul Rodriguez, and he's a great person. He's a great human being. And
Not a good comment, but
no, actually, I think he's great. He has a movie out too. But I mean, I've been very blessed to say I performed with those folks. And different various I know a lot of us have performed with them, but for me, like living my dream, that's been pretty remarkable, and seeing my
of course.
family see that is pretty
And
great.
I believe this is something that LA has over Chicago, that you can meet these people, and if you're lucky enough and talented enough, and you're ready for the scene, they can take you under their wing,
Yeah,
and they can like help you rise.
yeah.
And the question that I have, and the topic that I have, is that with everything that is happening with P Diddy and how Justin Bieber got to be famous, and what a lot of famous, super famous people, like let's say there's famous people, and this is like extremely famous. They have a lot of them are in the P Diddy parties and shit. I don't know. Like I have the theory of every like movie star that you have seen that they're like rising, and out of the sudden they disappear. They stop getting like into movies. I believe those people were got to a point that they were like about to pass that level of from famous to super famous, and they're like, okay, in order to do this, you need to get into this world,
Mm-hmm.
and and the people who refuse, w- they were like, okay, then you're nothing again. Like I believe like that happened to Kelly Clarkson. Like Kelly Clarkson was like rising super fast, and out of nowhere, it's like, well,
Well,
that's it.
she got put on a television show. I think so. Did you see the one about the Nickelodeon,
Yeah, yeah. The
like with this
quiet
Drake
on
Bell,
yeah, quiet on
quite on set?
quite on set.
Amanda Bynes, right? Amanda Bynes was gonna be what probably one of the best comics like
And
SNL like type
and
of
the
person, and she is now barely becoming like a cosmetologist, right? Like she had a
no,
lot of
and
things with
one of the
drugs and
most famous person, like not just comic, like actresses.
yeah, no, she was incredible. I mean, I grew up with watching her, and and I'm proud of her now for everything that she's doing. But I do believe that you're right on the money. Funny enough to say that. Oh my God.
Right
Right
on the
on the
baby oil. We're
right,
gonna change it.
right on the slip and slide. That there's a point of like famous and then famous, right? Like Leonardo DiCaprio, like all these other actors, especially like Ashton Kutcher and all these people. But I think the biggest problem is this. The biggest problem is that people if they see something, they don't say something because they're like, well, if I say something, then I'm done. And then
There are
now it's
consequences.
like, oh, we did know, but we just didn't stay for the after party, or we were there, but we just didn't. That was none of our business, right?
We
And
were there, but Mike was 16. It's like, what are you saying?
and that's the thing is that like even in real life here in our world without being famous, we do have situations where we see people who are rude and disrespectful, and their people around them is like, oh, that's who they are, and it's like there's gonna be a moment that they're gonna be this way to the wrong person, and everybody was gonna say, oh, we knew he was like that, but we just didn't say anything.
But I believe, thanks to social media, that is kind of happening more often than before.
But that is also
Because
a double-edged sword because
exactly, because that happened with Ellen DeGeneres.
yeah,
That happened with Bad Bunny. Like he threw the phone of one of
the fans.
of a fan, and that created like a wave of hate that he couldn't control it, because instead of apologizing, he just said
did a
like,
Kendall
"Well, fuck
Jenner.
it," like
He did a Kendall Jenner instead of like, I'm just gonna go date Kendall. Maybe a
yeah.
Kim
So
Kardashian.
it was like a wave of hate towards him, and apparently he released a song like recently, and no one paid attention to it. It's
No,
like, no, no,
nobody
you're like
Well,
old news.
that and also that he dated one of the Kardashian Jenner, right? Like he dated
Yeah.
Kendall, and we all know that she's like culturally incompetent, and we know that the whole family is that way, and the fact that we thought that Bad Bunny was more, and he didn't see himself as that, and then to be that person to throw away a phone of a fan and just like really take himself out of his connection to his community, to people, right? Because even you see Peso Pluma, he's not like that, right now, right? And you see other celebrities that are rising, and the best part that I see is that you have to create your own. You have to create your own group that you feel like strong with, because like one of my favorite artists, actors is Adam Sandler, and we've always seen him do movies with the same people,
Yeah.
and then you have another group, right? But they're not like the same. They don't come out with Adam. They don't come into Adam Sandler's movies. They create their own, like the Jonah Hill and the Seth
Yeah.
Rogen. But Jonah Hill has also begun done really awful things, right? I don't know if you guys remember this show, Punked, right,
Yeah.
with Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, I believe it.
And when he used to punk celebrities, and then he
Yeah.
would come out, right? He punked one of the videos that I've seen that he did was Justin Long and Jonah Hill, where they had underage girls at a restaurant, and they were willing to buy them drinks, and they were setting Justin Long up to see how far he would go. But the fact that nobody cared to say that this is a perpetual cycle of like
Yeah.
grooming and like using your power as a celebrity to intimidate and like coerce women or anybody to do something for you, like that was intense. And like Ashton Kutcher was the producer of Punk. He was the one that was with Jonah Hill trying to put like that. I saw it on the internet, and I was like, well, like again, like I read a phrase that said those things don't matter.
Motivational phrase with Josie.
They said that if like it's all scary and awful and people are evil until it's your friend, your colleague, your brother, or somebody that you know personally, where you're like, well, they're not really like that. I would have never thought. It's like that's not how this world works. And when I say double-edged sword, is because some women or some people victimize themselves, like where they do things that are wrong, and then they say, oh, this person tried to do this to me and it wasn't true. There was a teacher who or principal who unalived himself because the person he was dating started spreading rumors that he was doing all these things to her, and it wasn't true, and used social media to rapidly increase that. Oh, he's a bad guy. We should cancel him. He's a bad person. And it all was because she just wanted a divorce and to have custody. But instead of saying the truth, she made up this lie, and that person unalived themselves because they couldn't.
That happens in Venezuela like not long ago, like because one girl like she posted like, oh, this person, I don't remember his name, but it doesn't matter. I won't name it either way. So she spread the rumors, and she put like that he was grooming her, and he used his power to like manipulate her. And then they posted all the conversations, and people were just like angry. They were not reading what was happening. They were just angry, and they were like going against him, hating him. And I read all the conversation, and she, in most of it, I mean, bad on him that he didn't stop it.
Yeah.
But she was the one being flirty. I mean, if a 16 years old is being flirty with you, and he was 30, and you're 30, stop that.
Yeah. Of
So
course.
I blame him on that, but she was the one like seducing him. But the way she said it at the end, it's like, no, no, he used his power to manipulate me. It's like I'm reading the conversations, and he was like, oh, I would like to draw a painting on your back, and she responds like, just on my back. And he's like, well, maybe a little lower. And
Some people
and
do
she's
the
like, oh,
baiting
how
part,
low, how low? Like you can go lower. And he was again,
trying his best to like
he is guilty
leading.
of
Yeah.
grooming, but she was the one, she wanted to be with him. And there's a lot of women that are 16 years old, and if you like a person who's older, you will try to get it. And but is on these people, like, I'm not saying you're the person to blame, because these people should be smart enough to be like, no, I won't get with a 16 years old. But like you were 16 at some point, and probably the person you like was 18, and it was a crime if he has accepted, but you want it.
A lot of times it happens that they have to be like have the parents to be able to say, okay, it's okay to, they can be in a relationship with an
But
older
even if they
person.
say they're okay, if you retract it later, that that okay won't matter.
Well, see, like that's the thing too. There's a lot of that's double-edged sword part. It's like there's a lot of people that would go as far as they can and say that person's like, hey, I want to stop this. I don't want to do this, and they're like, well, too late. Like it's too bad. Either you're with me or I'm gonna expose you. Like blackmail, right? Entrapment, todo eso. But that's something too. What I've noticed in our social media age now is that everybody says everything on social media.
Yeah.
Everybody's always like want to put their whole life on social media. Trust me, I was one of them, telling my stories or whatever I was going through. But then people take it to the next level with TikTok, right? Like let's listen to the story, like a story time, right? And they go into their stories. I mean, this lady did like a 10-minute like series about who the hell did I marry, right? Like who the hell was I dating? Because it turned out she had dated this person, and now she has like a brand, like a deal with, like, she got a free car. She's gonna get a fucking Netflix special. She's gonna get all these things with this whole story that she wrote. So a lot of people started to do that. They're like, oh, I'm gonna do that too.
Yeah, because maybe I'll get the same.
Same deal. But the thing is too is that like recently there's this girl. I think I don't remember her tagline. That she was crying about how she didn't know that her husband was a pedophile, and she was really devastated, and like they took him to jail and all that stuff. And then she used to have brand deals, especially with body shapewear and things like that. Is what she was on my For You page, because I always look at body shaper. And I was like, damn, that's sad. And then other people, other influencers, like, and started making videos supporting her, like, oh my God, let's help her out. She has 3 daughters, whatever. But then this girl uploaded a video later on, like a couple weeks later, where in the background you can see that that guy is there. And then people dug in, the internet is like this own FBI. They dug in. It turns out that she took him out. She puts a bail for him, and she has him living at her house, even though she has 3 daughters. Even though she did this whole thing about this guy being a pedophile. And then now everybody dropped her. But she has 2.8 million followers on social media.
Yeah.
Some people follow because they want to see the tea, but also people follow because they don't know how to unfollow. And so it's a lot, but like those are the things I'm like, just be careful what we watch on the internet too, because some things are true, some things are not. That's why you have to like fact check yourself, because
Or some things are like, you have the story, that one side story.
yeah,
because there was one recently also that it was this single. She said a single mother. She was crying because she was like making a cake for her daughter, and she's like, "Oh, it's so difficult to be a single mother." Everybody got to like, where's the father? The father is an asshole. Blah 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 blah. The father posted a video, and it's like, she has mental issues. These are the proof. She have to be medicated. I have the custody of my daughter because she was like aggressive against her. And when people saw that, people still were like, yeah, but what did you do to her for her to be like that? He's like, what? What are you
No,
saying?
that people run like people have done their thing where like there's been racist people, which I totally think is for those people to get exposed and those people get fired from their jobs. And the internet is such a powerful tool that if
But it's
used if
double edged.
sword, yeah, like if you have to use it wisely, because sometimes you don't want it to happen to you, right? You do it to other people, but then it happens to you, whether you having a bad day and you're frustrated with somebody because they didn't go when the line turned green, and you're like, oh, road rage, right? We just have to be very careful, and especially in comedy too. Like now people are rushing to post their shit online because people steal jokes. And sometimes if your shit doesn't go viral, but the other person's goes viral, and then they stole your joke,
Yeah, that's it.
it's like, dang, so it is a very competitive. That's why if you see a comedy show, that's why last, like when we did our show together recently, like yesterday, obviously people won't know it was yesterday, but it was around this
No,
time.
they will know.
That I was upset with the audience that was there, because one, we did this as a new spot, right? There's been comedy there before, but when you go and you see people performing, it's like, you gotta just, if you're not in the mood to listen to comedy, just go home. It's fine, and go party somewhere else.
Yeah,
But
and
like,
there was a sign outside saying comedy.
yeah, and then also like at the end of the day, like, you know, drinking is okay and everything like that. But if you're gonna go to a place to cause problems and to be angry or to just be rude to people, reflect, because that's what is going on internally in your life that is making you be rude to people that you don't even know. And for me, I've been in spaces where people are rude hecklers. They get picked up and taken out. And I think that's why I was like, you know what? Like, this guy is being not only rude, but he's the kind of guy that in a space of his friends and homies, oh my God, Vato, you're so funny. And it's like, maybe in his mind, he thinks he could do comedy.
He said that, like, I went to him and literally he was like, oh, because no one can beat me. And he was like this kind of attitude, like,
Yeah.
I'll be more funny than the guy who's on stage.
Yeah,
Like he had this attitude.
and I would love to be like you, like the other comic told him, hey, you want to come up here, like I
Yeah,
would
he was
wanna
like,
see-"
ah, ah, ah."
Well, because that's the thing is that like they think they're the big dogs in the moment, but it's like nobody loves you like that. Nobody cares about you. Like, you're here and people are
All motivational quotes. Just
everybody's looking at you right now like, man, why didn't your mom just like not
no.
do what she didn't do? And it sucks because you want to be able to be like, cool, now trust me, like I've been around people like that like are influencers online, but they're not comics,
Oh yeah,
and
no, that happens.
they're just trying, and then it's okay because people like the guy from last night follow those people, and like they do enjoy those shows, because now shows from some of these folks are more like reality TV shows, or more like want to find a girlfriend on stage.
Yeah.
They're more like, hey, I want to pick on you and I'm gonna roast you. And that's why I've been telling people who do roast battles, man, this is like your era right now. People, maybe this guy from last night needed somebody to roast him as bad as, like, to for him to realize like, hey, like, you mano a mano, right? Like this is not okay for you to do this. But I was really thankful the owner of the place was very, very thoughtful, and she was like trying to address them. And my friend told me, he's like, hey, you shouldn't have been that harsh. I was like, you know what? It's like, not only do I love my friends so much and I'm always gonna have their back, but I wanted to ensure that they knew that they walked away knowing that people knew they were being disrespectful and,
Yeah,
and
people
condescending.
knew. He was so drunk at some moment. He just like was walking on the back. He just fell. It was that level of drunk.
Yeah, and it's like
Um,
embarrassing for you.
I have this last question to end the bonus content. Uh, if you're in the point that you're like famous but not famous, would you do would you do that step to become famous, or do you think like, no, I'm gonna end here, like this is, I don't, because I believe I wouldn't want to be famous, super famous, if it is what it takes, It's like I'd rather just like ruin my career and that's it. I got to here, but I don't wanna go to the dark side.
I think for me, I want to get to a point where my family is comfortable, like they have what they need, colleges are paid for, where I'm healthy and and I'm with the people I love. I actually have more ideas of like not necessarily becoming super famous. I want to be able to open my own comedy club. I want to be able
Beautiful.
to expand businesses. I want to elevate people, and I want to say that my life mattered. And I don't think that if I become this Taylor Swift megastar in comedy, I don't think that I would change, but I do think that if I build a strong enough foundation for myself, that I wouldn't have to sell myself out to be recognized as somebody
Okay.
who was thoughtful. But I would never, ever do anything uncanny or anything that would jeopardize my values to be somewhere. And, and not because, oh, I think it's, if that's what you got to do to fulfill your life, do it. But that doesn't fulfill mine. What fulfills mine is moments like this. What fulfills my life is knowing, like, I'll just leave you with this. Like, I had just been booked for my first show in Hollywood.
Yeah, it gives you the light. Like what the fuck?
It's like the light, guys. I'll leave you with this. Let me leave you with my last
Yeah,
show.
1 minute.
So I was booked for my first show ever in Hollywood, and I was gonna perform with Paul Rodriguez and all those folks. And I was like, okay, this is it. And I remember that morning, I took my whole family, all 11 of them, to breakfast. And I was like, because I'm blessed, I have a really good job. And so I was really thankful. So I was like, you know what? I get anything you want. Like, everybody just eat whatever, milkshakes, steaks, and, heart attacks were going to happen. But I was like, let's eat, right? And I remember sitting back, like sitting back on the chair. And for the first time in my whole life, I was living happiness in real time.
Okay, cute. I know that feeling.
And that is the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, I have a this with. I believe I said it. Like when you say it, it's weird because I was walking with one friend that visited me from New York and my sister, and at some point in the walk, I was like, I'm happy. Like these are the moments that make me happy.
Yeah, and it was beautiful because I was like, that's just now I know what it feels like.
Yeah, that you feel like you're about to cry. Like
Yeah,
you're like, this is what I want.
and when I think about it, I'm like, this is
Yeah.
happening. So for me, it's like, I want to have enough. I don't want to have too much because it does cause more problems.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be struggling that I don't get to live my life.
You wanna have enough to recreate as much times as possible that feeling of
Happiness
unhappiness.
of like euphoria.
And that's it. You see, motivational, just see that.
Really
But
good.
with that, we're gonna end the bonus content. Thank you very much. Again, we're right now 112 subscribers, so thank you very much.
So subscribe, follow, and like and share. Hey, I'm not
Yeah,
pointing
yeah. Thank
anywhere.
you, YouTuber. Bye. Adios.